Now, we've been talking a lot about the flood waters that have been causing havoc here in the Greater Accra region. Well, what's been happening in the rest of the country? Right now, we'll take a trip to the central region to see what happened when the rainfall that we enjoyed a couple of days ago hit parts of the central region yesterday. Let's take a look at this.
Residents in the Cape Coast town of Abura, amongst other surrounding communities, continue to experience flooding situations whenever there's a heavy downpour in the area. Tuesday's downpour, which started before 8 a.m., lasted for over 5 hours, and many houses and streets were submerged. Some residents who spoke to City News say they have been outside their homes since morning because of the situation. The residents attributed the flooding to poor drainage systems and improper infrastructure development in the area. They want the government to urgently attend to such concerns.
Formerly a river behind the PPAG hospital, but the place has turned into, buildings rising up. So that has caused this flood. While there is construction underway, I've learned they are reconstructing the gutters and try to make the road more travel. But that has even made it worse. The gutters are too slim or small for the quantum of water passing here to go through. That has caused so many. If you go to the PPAG clinic right now, it's full of water. It's full of water, and there is a junction. So the water from PPAG clinic, from the AIFUA school, and from the estate all meet at the junction here. So that has caused so much flooding.
I hear for na yen to me grandinem cast in the no more engine. Obian point to me, son and wabetade. I hang na yema yen to me engine mumpo. In Suta neto, yen to me engine. Indeed, yes, Rabbi, I may be found my yes, run baby. I hear you pa. Yes, run.
Jabas young pain from there, 1 boy and now, baby and settle on that hard in okay. Because park stadium or to them now aha overflowed them easy on ya some craba and see yaba say young pain from there 1 to 1 boy 1 year between from mine because I had easy a pain put in the future my why wait to the campo or that be saha and see on porch inside you shouldn't still all condemn on whom or by out or pray on the original Sunumun. And see, Jabas young pain from there, 1 boy and pa because aha of Florida, my idea and on yet.
Well, this camera ready, and no what neighbor, and the way you will be here, will pay crime me. That's a kind of Mammy, this is a Ghana, a Benny, or a boy and I don't hear. Only here so, because it's on our channel, so contract what my man for. On what's all money to who need to know how we discuss. This yours. No, sir. If you wait, that for her, it been a dinning, or dog. No guess in her, divers, Papa, ye black. Nana.
Well, there you saw it, citizens of the central region in Cape Coast specifically, the various experiences that they've had when the rains hit yesterday. Okay, I don't know what you take away from that, but it looks like the same thing that we're experiencing, and it's again, it's not the rains, it's us, it's the people, it's our behavior, and of course, if our behavior changes, we will enjoy the rains and we will not have, the flooding situations that we're having. But yeah, like Samir said yesterday, there are some kind of rainfalls. No country can handle the floods that will come, right? Yes. But ordinarily, we should be able to be okay, and then again, when the floods do come, your response is also something that we need to work on.
Yeah. And possibly, I mean, this is an area called Ibra in the central region, and obviously not as densely populated as Accra, right? Yeah. But they're still having this issue because even there, people are building in the wrong spaces. Yes. Yeah. Unbridled construction. Yeah. I mean, no kind of consideration.
Meanwhile, there are city planners over there.
Of course. Yeah. They're everywhere. Yeah. And so it just goes to show that even in places where you would think, it's not necessarily a concrete jungle. Even putting one building in the wrong place could cause havoc.
No, it does.
The importance of spatial planning cannot be overemphasized, and we just take it for granted.
You know, and I was thinking about something last night. You know, all these conversations, I took it into my resting period as I was lying in bed, and I was just thinking about what has happened throughout the day and everything. And then it occurred to me that, you know, we've created what we call storm drains.
Yes.
Right? Now, these storm drains were formerly streams and rivers. Right?
A lot of them, yeah.
I also wonder a little bit about the logic. Because you know what we're discussing was about the soft ground soaking runoff water, right? So as soon as you create a storm drain, a kilometer length worth of storm drain, right? That's a kilometer that the water is not going to seep into the ground. The sides as well as the bottom. It will stay and flow, right? So you have to, by every means possible, make sure that the channel is as clear and as open as possible for the water to flow. You cannot possibly even imagine that you've constructed a thing. Look, the water would have slowed down just because it's earth in the first place. But we've now decided to create a channel with concrete and mortar. So that means that you can't play with it. You have to make sure it's clean and clear all the time.
It's a problem. I mean, yesterday, the discussion we had about the kind of things that the flood is carrying around and the disease burden that we're going to face because of it, and just all of the concomitant issues that are going to come from this. It's exhausting to think about. But, you know, aside this issue in the central region, we've also got issues in the western region of the country.
Yes, we do.
And also, again, rains, residents stranded. The same story. Motorists can't move. Residents are stranded. Roads are collapsing. On citynewsroom.com, we're talking about Nkroful and Essiama. Motorists left stranded after this weekend's rainfall. It destroyed a temporary access road created between two communities. So look, the rain was enough to destroy a whole road that connects two communities. The eroded access road was created by Memphis Metropolitan, which is a construction company that worked on about a 7-kilometer Essiama-Nkroful road prior to the 2020 elections. They were supposed to have fixed 2 major bridges on that stretch. Those are yet to be worked on. And if you go to citynewsroom.com, you'll actually see images of this road that has just collapsed. And you ask yourself, was it properly constructed in the first place? Because it's literally crumbled. Really, it has. Residents complained that the eroded access road has affected their movement as the river Amanzuri has taken over the road now. Now, the DCE of Ellembele, Kwesi Bonzo, spoke to City News. He said the DA, the District Assembly, is trying to fix the problem. He says it's temporary as the middle access road, and Adamus Resource Mines has also offered their bypass for residents and motorists to use while they try to fix the situation. You can read more on citynewsroom.com, but just yet again, the havoc that's being wreaked by these rains and our lack of preparedness to really deal with it comes to the fore.
So the Amanzuri River is a river that courses through the Maha area, through Inzulezu, Benin, to Inzulezu and all of that. That's the river that goes through there. Now, for me, I think about it, and the river has not done anything wrong.
Of course
the
not.
rains have
Water
not
will
done
find its
anything
path.
wrong. We are the problem. Let's take a look at this report from the Western region.
Them from Nkroful and Essiama on Monday, May 23rd morning got stranded after this weekend's rainfall destroyed a temporary access road created between Nkroful and Essiama. The eroded access road was created by Memphis Metropolitan, a contractor, after it tarred the about 7-kilometer Essiama-Nkroful road prior to the 2020 elections. Meanwhile, the bridge for which the bypass was created to enable its reconstruction has been abandoned for close to 2 years, hence the community's reliance on the temporary bridge. A resident of Nkroful and an eyewitness, Lord Kujo, as well as other stranded commuters, spoke to City News.
As of now, people are stranded From Nkroful, Telekubukazo, Anya, Eluku, Salma, all those communities cannot cross the bridge to Essiama and embark on their daily activities. In the same manner, people coming from Takrade, Essiama, Kekam, and all those areas cannot also cross the river to Nkroful. Those that are daring are doing so, and it's so dangerous. You can see school children, teachers, and all manner of workers trying to cross because some of them have to even access hospital, and it is so dangerous. The situation is that if care is not taken, any of them can fall into the river, and the result is something you can guess more than myself. This is the situation, and we want authorities to respond as swiftly as they can. The Honorable DCE, the Honorable MP, and the contractor himself, Memphis Metropolitan, we need you to come and assess the situation and find out what could be done within the immediate time.
In fact, what matter is much ready and she said, when you took by a in fact, that you are hotel with your band, and then they say, and society, Aquadas, and John Robert, yes, Roddy Ban, and Swina from Canada, and yes, bank, any honorable DC MP. For Ellembele, Omubabua, the bridge, point to for your Buga, near to Yamre, near to Yatra Bridge, Aquabia, Yako, into your Sra Bressa on boy.
This idea, I do yes, you are I'm a contrary, and this is the background to young person. Because you may be at your office, Nina, into young, or some of them may be Nina, into your best, I say, and Tampere, DC, in the Nkroful, and Buana.
After residents expressed dismay with the situation, the Ellembele District Assembly, with the help of other institutions in the area, have been able to construct a temporary wooden bridge on the eroded access road for pedestrians, whilst Adam's Resources Mines has offered their bypass for use by motorists to and from Essiama to Nkroful.
Looking at that footage, it's hard to believe there was a road there at all. I mean, the river has taken its place, I suppose. Let's speak to our colleague, our Western Regional Correspondent, Akwesi J. He's standing by to give us more information about what's happening in that part of the country. Good morning, Enim.
Good morning, Kogi.
Morning, good to talk to you. So Enim, yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so give us a bit more details about what's going on here. Now, we saw your report, and we know that motorists, residents, etc., we've seen what they're trying to do to be able to cross the river now that it's taken over the access road. But just give us a bit of history on what the situation has been in Nkroful, Essiama, with regards to that access road and the bridges that are yet to be constructed properly.
Well, this road is a very important road. And it's about 7 kilometers, around 6 to 7 kilometer road from Essiama through the district capital of Nkroful, all the way to Telekubukazo in the Ellembele district. And this is the route that if you really want to visit the first president's hometown, Nkroful, you have to use. And from the main road to Nkroful, it's less than 6 kilometers. The construction of this road precede this administration and even the last 4 years. In fact, this road was given to contract, and the contractor's name is Memphis Metropolitan before 2016, and it was kind of under construction. But when there was a change in power in 2016, in 2017, the new government actually suspended the construction of this road, and this was a nationwide exercise that they said they were doing auditing. And after the auditing, the contract was given back to the Memphis Metropolitan to do the work. And for 4 good years, that 7-kilometer road was not done. But just before the 2020 election, the road was quickly tarred. Meanwhile, the 2 major bridges between Essiama and Nkroful were not fixed, but the road was tarred. And so, after the 2020 election, in the last close to 2 years, this bridge has been under construction. But because this bridge has been under construction, they've created a bypass for motorists and pedestrians to actually use along the bridge where the construction is actually going on. And so last weekend's rain actually eroded this access road for motorists using this bypass to Nkroful and back. And so that actually created a lot of inconvenience for people going to school, going to office. Don't forget, the district capital is in Nkroful, so we have a lot of people coming from Ekwe, Essiama, and even those coming to Nkroful for tourism will have to use this bypass, which was actually eroded. And so passengers started complaining, and thankfully by Monday morning, the assembly together with the fire service and I understand the contractor managed to do a makeshift structure, wooden structure on the very part that created a lot of inconvenience for people to use. But that's we were also told. In fact, we interviewed the district chief executive, Mr. Kosibonzo, who told us that a mining company in the catchment, that is Adamus Resources Limited, they had a bypass, and they said the mining company had permitted motorists to rather use vehicles to rather use the bypass, and so that the pedestrian can use the wooden structure. But just as we said yesterday, we were told that motorists were not permitted to use that bypass created by the mining company. And so what was happening is that passengers from Essiama coming to Nkroful, going to Nkroful, will have to be offloaded just before the bridge, and then when you cross the bridge by that wooden structure, you then have to then take another car to Nkroful and beyond to Teleko-Bokazo. And that is what the passengers are complaining, that they are made to pay double fares between that two stretches. They could have paid the same fare for that journey, but because they have to join another car beyond the bridge, they have to pay double fare, and that is the inconvenience motorists and passengers are facing. Even the bypass that they are saying the drivers should use, it is not something that you can use to directly connect to Nkroful. It goes around Nkroful community to Teleko-Bokazo, and so if you are from Essiama and you are going to Nkroful, the bypass will take you around the town, take you to a different town, and then you then have to come from Teleko-Bokazo through Amria to Nkroful, and that is an inconvenience for both motorists and then passengers.
Right. Okay. Thank you. You've broken that down really well to explain kind of the chronology of the whole situation. So, so the question is, how quickly is this bridge going to be completed? Because it sounds like that's the main thing that needs to be finished. This was just a temporary solution while the bridge was supposed to be constructed, and now the temporary solution is underwater. So for the long-term solution, which is the bridge, how long is it going to take, as far as you know?
Yeah, that is a quagmire, and it's difficult to get any clear timelines for the bridge because all the time that were given were not actually met. Because this is a bridge that should have even been completed before the road was tarred. And after the road was tarred, it's been close to 2 years, 1.5 years. The bridge is still under construction. And so that tells you the commitment by, whoever has to make sure that the bridge is fixed. So I think that answer will have to come from the district assembly, which is the supervisory authority over the construction that is going on there.
Obviously, the road, what we are looking at in the footage here, are we looking at a road that has been split by the river? Is that what we are seeing in the images on the screen?
This
where the people are being helped across.
Yes, it's the access road. The access road is beside the bridge, the original bridge, which is in the road.
Yeah.
The original bridge, there is no means to cross it because that has heavy, bigger culverts, which is still under construction. So the extension beyond the bridge that they have created, they also put some small culverts over there.
Yeah.
And then put some earth on it and then a bridge for them to use. But that is what has been eroded. There's a bridge, there's a river body that goes under the bridge called River Amanzuri.
Yes.
And because of the force of the rainfall, its strength actually went up and it eroded the whole thing.
I find it interesting looking at these images because when you look at the face of the road that has been split, when you look at the substructure there, you don't see any rocks. It just looks like dirt packed on dirt, literally. So I'm really wondering what sort of quality work was done in all of this, because you really don't see any proper, substructure to the road. Howbeit it's temporary, but you still don't see that, any serious work was done, considering that we are looking at a river that seems to be taking its own natural course. If you look at the way the water is flowing, it looks like it's going in its own natural direction. So a lot more work maybe could have been done to make sure that even though it's temporary, it's not going to just do what has happened.
Well, but we are right. But every project has a lifespan. I think the temporary bridge was done, to be used for a certain space of time.
Okay.
And with a delay, you could see that the anticipated strength of that thing that was developed is been exceeded. And so that is why it couldn't resist the current development.
I see.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Akwesi. We appreciate your report and your time. Thank you. All right. So we have the DCE of Essiama-Ellembele, Kwesi Bonzo, Honorable Kwesi Bonzo. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you doing this morning? Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
We are doing good by the grace of God.
Okay. So this road that we are having a conversation about this morning, what are the plans to restore the transportability of your citizens between Essiama and Nkroful?
Thank you very much. This road that we are talking about is a road under construction. A 6.5 kilometer asphalt concrete road, which is started to Telekubukazo.
Okay.
Nkroful is the birthplace of the first president of the Republic of Ghana, so the road is of quite significance. The contract itself was awarded, and then the contract was started in 2019, late 2019. So, in the construction of the road, there are two big bridges. There were two Bailey bridges that needed to be constructed. So currently, the two Bailey bridges have been demolished, and the new 3-cell 4x4 bus coverage is being constructed. Now, to enable the contractor construct the 4x4 bus coverage, they had to demolish the Bailey Bridge.
Okay.
And in the process, they had to provide a diversion. So, a 3-cell 1.8 concrete pipe diversion was provided. Unfortunately, in the last 3-4 days, we have experienced some heavy torrential rains. So what happened was that the water carried debris into the pipes and blocked the pipes on the diversion.
Okay.
So the water overtopped and then washed away the filling. That's what happened. So it is the diversion which was washed away and not the bridge itself. After the bridge itself, it is intact and the construction is still ongoing, except that because of the heavy rain, work has halted on that one too. So currently, immediately, what we have done is to provide an alternate route.
Okay.
There's a mining company, Adamus Resources Limited, which has a bypass just before the bridge. So currently, commuters are able to use that bypass to connect to Nkroful and Telekubukazo. Meanwhile, the water has subsided. The rain has gone down, so the water level has gone down as well. So the contractors are, between today and tomorrow, going to fill the approaches and cover the pipes so that normal vehicular movement can take place on the road.
Okay, so Honorable, are you saying that within a week we should have this thing restored?
Within the next 3 days.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes, yesterday we were there with the site engineer. There's a resident engineer from Ghana Highway Authority. And so yesterday we were there with him, Mr. Daniel Donko, and he gave us assurance that latest within 3 days, the approaches on the culvert will be filled so that the normal vehicular flow can resume on the road.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time and giving us a bird's eye view of exactly why it happened, what has happened, why it happened, and then what you're doing about it. We'll be touching base with you by the early part of next week to find out if everything has been restored to normal.
Thank you very much for your interest in this matter. As I said, this road is a very significant road.
Yeah.
Because Nkroful itself is the district capital of the district.
Yeah.
Aside being the best place of the first president of the Republic of Ghana. So we'll do our best to make sure that the problem is solved immediately.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable. All right.
Thank you, my brother.
Okay. All right, so we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll get into some more conversations. Don't go anywhere.
So, we've been showing you some parts of the country where flood damage has occurred and where it's causing some havoc. Yesterday, we spent quite a bit of time looking at areas in Adabraka, in Osu. Today, we're going to Taifa. Now, Taifa is one of those places that anytime I need to go there or someone says, oh, you know, there's a place I need to go to Taifa, I'm always a bit apprehensive because I don't know what I'm going to meet as far as roads are concerned. Taifa, there's some interesting roads around there. The Tantra Hill area, it can be pretty rocky as a ride. Okay, so it's no surprise that there are issues there, especially after the downpour we've experienced in the past few days. So we'll be touching base with our colleague, Niaikwe Okain, who is interacting with some residents there. He's going to show us what has happened since the rainfall we experienced a couple of days ago. So let's see what's happening in Tantra Hill. Hi, Ni.
Hello, Koku.
Hello. I understand you're in Tantra Hill this morning.
Yes, I'm at Tantra Hill, Yellow House, precisely on the Keche Kwame Appiah Road.
Wow, okay. We can see that the road on which you're standing looks quite rough, but I'm sure you're going to show us a lot more about what's happening in that area, especially since the rainfall, the deluge happened.
Sure. So last week we had concerns being raised by residents of Tantra Hill Yellow House, precisely on the Kwame Appiah Keche Road. They were complaining about the poor nature of the road here. They said that prior to the 2020 general elections, the member of parliament for this particular area, Moses Enim, came around and then propagating the message that he was going to ensure that this road is actually completed. But right after the elections, work on this project halted, and since then the drains that were being constructed have actually been truncated at some portions along the road. And then also, due to this, people are compelled, or residents nearby are compelled to channel their waste water onto the street. On my right, I don't know if you can see. You can see, yes. So some of those channels that have actually been pushed onto the street, forcing water out onto the street. And it's also a very bumpy road. In fact, from the whole of Tantra Hill Junction through to communities within Tantra Hill, you get to notice that most of the roads are immotorable. They are in very, very bad shape, and residents keep calling on the government to ensure that these projects are actually completed. You would also notice that some persons are also making efforts to ensure that the drain is desilted, especially within this season where we have the rains coming in every now and then. So that is the situation here at Tantra Hill Yellow House. When it rains, in fact, the entire place gets flooded because the drains are choked with sand, and then at some portions also they've been truncated. They've actually been sealed, and you would barely notice that there are even drains at some portions of the road, thereby rendering the entire place flooded whenever there is a rainfall. You would think that, well, with the rains that came down yesterday, of course, it would recede at some portions here, but what you see on this street is actually wastewater that is being channeled from some homes nearby onto the streets, deteriorating the already poor state of the road. Copy.
I'm just curious, you know, there's obviously an assembly, right? There are obviously assembly persons or city workers who are supposed to go around communities and inspect certain things. We've got the Clean Your Frontage campaign that's going on, where people are supposed to be inspecting some of these things. Because the amount of health hazards that this pipe is causing right now, as we are seeing, we can't even quantify, right? And you're saying that several homes have done this, and the waste from their houses is spilling out on the street. Now, we don't know whether this is bathroom waste, kitchen waste, but regardless, it's still waste being carried out of somebody's home into the street.
Not to cut you short, but last week the residents here actually complained that there is an abattoir up there that also channels cow dung and then also blood from cows onto the street. But City News reported on this incident, and actually the residents are saying that since then they haven't witnessed any such thing on this road. We have videos back in there which shows that in fact you could see the blood on this particular road, and some of them complained that it was having a serious health effect on them. So they actually called on authorities to ensure that the situation is addressed. We moved to the abattoir, where the manager actually confirmed that they made a mistake some 3 weeks ago. According to the manager, it was some 3 weeks ago that the incident happened. But then the residents were saying that it was quite a regular occurrence. So since the report, they admit that there's been a bit of a difference since the situation. But there are some of them nearby. I would want to get in touch and then speak to them about what they make of this situation. Mommy, you're watching about City TV.
Yeah, no, bra.
You're passing more crying. Yes, say, Ache.
Philo, beyond one first number 2, it's beyond we. One on the tone. Now, we are the tone to say we are smart family.
Okay, Mommy, Patrick, I say, oh boy, a crying at to say if it is a
oh, a quite way, dear. Ache. I say, Yacha, and yet 2 years and yet 3 years, I say. Almost by 15 years ago, na say ya na can contract be baby no wejai no ko contract be baby no weja to won no ko nti de ete ho ano no eya sometimes nsuo to a utumu say yira for hanu ina ma say unnim hanu ma obeka say onam nsuo so aka kodro de beto so keke na yetwa kwan na aka say bia me fa nsuo so na me koye nso me ka say ha ye loro kwan na ya na sometimes no medwen ho amenti ase because ye nso ye Ghana for ena I wonder say aha no ya kra na ye face such challenges we because ensuo to a etumi yiria ma ebufa nkofo dem ene ade gata no mu esi abatwa bi wo soro ho no mu twa se moja ne nam loro kwan ni mu ani ayansa bebre
moja na asem no ebe da be ni amohu se sa ase
oh moja ne de ache ya ka ho asem aka even me amegina ya me no ka se kura ya heda nante akọ nom yani ye mpanimfo akọ akọka ho asem de akye abatwa wura no oso obedi hu dwuma onye until last 3 weeks or so na me hu say omo de gravels bi aba begu kwan ne nchen omo be begu kwan ne nchen ne yensu ye kire ya dwen say honom no de abegu ni de enya de ebeboa anka be ya anka mu yi gata nimu enyi bridge na se na ebe ya se nsuo na eba ebetumi afem na ntwimfa kwan nim ba ya se wunya dwuma wa ban ma wa no nduru dwom nti ye kan ye no anko bebi ya ka ho asem aka
na obi be ka say kwan mu enya dada na mo nso amotete ben na mo de nsufini ade afim fie egu ka kwan enha mo
ha ye pa
na mo njai
yeah say last 2 months kura me yare ye koda hospital because of we na born into smelling into me yare koda hospital yes me nya typhoid by me nye ade bi a chese bi a provisions na meye nti provisions dey senka ene typhoid nam by nam say hanom ahundie no enkoso ye na ensuo ne bon eto da bra wote hanom huntumi nje wo hwe eje so sori kokko fan ase kura wote no krampo no ebon
na gota no so situation at sen wa
gota no dey si ensunsun na free soro honom ba no ano so nti se basa na twi ahwe ne free soro honom etwi fa gata ni mu na afele gata no unhu se gata kura da ha sa me ne mo ka se otu eni hwe se ya unka se gata bia da bebia nso gata eda ho ahwe na twi afa so ina ama na ye ma nche esa ne nsuo ne bu afa kwan ne mu nti de ete ho wa ha no no
mo ne mo mpenimfo ne bi akasa
ye mpenimfo de ani omo akasa ye ani omo akasa e ma omo ba ha last month say me frɛ MC no ene ne kasa ye say ye pa ne chomra no me mehwe ye kwan ma ye say ne esitie no oje ya no yie ampa ne 3 days time or the contractor bi ba ye e ma me hu ye
so see ben no
MC owo Ganoff or Ganoff ono nso ye na femu de nti ye fa ne say be 3 days ago nso me san frɛ ne bisa ne say sesi ano or the contractor ne ba ye no ye nte ne nka eno no ahwe me say nsuo na esi fom ni nti no ye nim de we ye ha no kwan ne sitie so omo de gravels ni begu so ma be ye kwan na nsunsun ne be san atwe de akọ sa na oman na ebo ka nti no ye nhwe se nsuo ne be kọ fom kakra na omo memehwe no monye nti ye de atwe ye mu ne ye wo na maba ya mabe tutu ya no nse mu nso mo dia mu de manu duru dwom na se bi e be boa ye de a na ja ma hu ye mobo aka bi ama ye na ye motumi abe ye kwan na ma because ye bre pa
pa so den de say
ye fam oye.
So, Kokwi, you heard the residents of this area complaining about the poor nature of the road here and the fact that some residents channel their waste onto the streets, thereby rendering some of them sick due to the stench and then also the filth that comes from these waste. We'll try and see if we can engage more of these residents and then find out what the concerns have been. Mommy, you're watching Eba City TV.
Yeah, bra.
What's your frost?
Femi yayowa.
Yeah, per se onso wote brownies.
Me fi ni meni mu ni gote here. Bra, me oba besia 60 years woman. Me na me tu gotem. Me o nso ta me yi gotem mu nyina yi a. Eni nso etimi ko ahwiase en kwa hwe gota ha. Sikofo te hwie ni. Go se nso etimi fa gota na se. Bridge na se. Ama je se nye bebi ya ye befa. Nso to aye bre o hasa hwe nyina ne aye. Na kofo te hwe ni ye te hwe. Me de yemi yakwase me ame oba me di gotem ana me ntiase. Gotem de ho you. Asie nyina asi. Bridge nyina asi. Ade bia be 2 years ni me ho no ma so ani mu ana. Empanifo bi ba e kuta for ba e bi 4x4 bi e kodishika. Park e fitira abesi ya. Na me yemo sese me ade. Yes was mo kwaniti na me ba e bra 2 years ni me ani mu ya ye hu mu bi obesi ne. Omo se ye kwaniti no mo ba yo. Ye hu up to na se me de ka sei. So what you say?
Obi nso be ka say bia mo nso amote ben ana mo ne ye na ama gota mu asi.
Ye de bi ye fi ni gota de se bridge na asi no eso ntimi nko. Eso ntimi nko se kwade a anka eso nyina be fam. Ana me boa eso wo de hwe bridge yo e na asi. Na be eso ntimi akọ. E free atu etire nyina bridge nyina asisi. Gota de kakra emu tententen. Si nyina asisi. Tinye de be nya kwan se ye betimi ahu bibia. Mo ba be de ka be park ya no mo ye be yi amamo. Ye be ni yi. Next week we be start more than if you be here me better ha enye entimi ye hwe ha ahwiase hu na ka se fa nyina na bi kura me fa bo be na wo twekura unya kan fiase o de call pass because kwan no nye no me ni pebra na ye ha nyina gotam e na asisi sa no damu street e free me fie ho kwa be ba wo mutu anwe nyina gotam won de ho na ayesa no
Mon kasa as resident and amo amote be ya mo nso mo ye dwuma kakra de boa se bia mo be yi.
E bi se mi ami ba me kasa mitimi yi gotam me hwe na me yi mu yo. Na ni na me yi mu pra me piegu ha yesu atweko. Me na me yi gotam. E na se hwe ni fo ni chire ni mo ho gotam fie ni mo. Me o bebesi ya me na me yi gotam ko se si. Ho na be boa mo wa goye. Ohu. Tumu so dia mbudi na se mo ba ya ma up to no bia me ye ho hwe. E na de tete ye se mo ba ya ni mo kan chire no ma boye. Ne pe no.
Ya wo tumi ni MC ni din komo fa.
Me nua no na beto ni ya no kasa first no. Ona me beto no bro no so a. To no nim ha no mo asetina san na me meba. So ati ase.
Nti dem potin a opese aban ye fam.
Aban de pe na che wa ye kwan ye firi eyo sa Israel hon. Ebe ko 7 days ho e ko si ho no. E no me ma ye kwan no nyina gota no. Ebe mu bia so ni nta ha bi. Ana me boa se gota ne da ho ye so be fam. wahu na eture bia na Nkroful yeku na ntwie nsuru ho gota yi unya hwen ya lie nko ama na yehu a ene kwa dem se mo ba ha na anu na bia atwa kakra mo fa efe de mo ba akọ do mo ma biu ka pc poto ko na ebo fa hwem mutimi mi stock kwa na wat na hoton ade so nti how do you be ti pon wa chewa so be mayen ni ye bre ha dodo what me chinase abo be no twukura unya ka so de call pass go ka na ema ekwa nyina na asie ya ka ntimi mfa so yi wo de me nua na kasa wo sie fie no wono ni ene ne me kasa ka chi ene bra ne kasa.
So, Kokwi, you heard some residents here at Tantra Hill Yellow House, precisely on the Kechi Kwame Appiah Road, complaining about the poor state of the road. According to them, whenever it rains, the entire place gets flooded because of the poor drainage systems and then also the waste that are channeled from various homes nearby onto the street. You know, when it happens like that, it erodes the street, thereby making it immotorable for commuters also plying this particular stretch. So that has been it here, Kokwi.
All right, thank you. Now, I thought you were speaking with the lady next to you.
The lady who is next to you.
Sure. So, mommy, you're more watching about City TV.
Yeah, I mean, the women, and I'm saying.
Me
patcho me fie ni.
Okay. Ya pese ye hu ka kwan situation eye se ya che.
Me patcho ache para me better 22 years ni. Tantra na me ka ho bi. But they say the say more. Then the most important thing cry awerho ni say nsuo mu na enkwala chese na awerho. Obi e dwane nsuo itimi yiri free e de say soro ho. E de be kwase ho chese ka bi entwam ka simu ana amem. A chese wuti ba bi wo fie bi ala pass na se be bi se wo ba Tantra Yellow House ase ho ka chire Kwame Appiah na wo prepare mo ho chese ekwan ne nye. Enti ye be sere won. Ye sere won kakra pacho because Tantra na che. So what I say nti esra won hu ye mobo na o mekwan na mayen because ankwala no o mu ko school o mu bre wa papa imagine here when we say ha nyina enkoyi it is strong ara ye sa so anum o mu wayen esra bebre why e don
ye nsusu ye mo nso amote ben ha no ade na ya amwansa mo nhwe na nka nsuo no nso nkogota.
Good. The problem is say sa time na nsuo ne to no untimi mpie mfiri wo fie ma because ha nyina yiri wo ye least mistake be fa wo me nua be ma so wo ka se enso ka se to wa ha na e be betimi adru wo level untimi chese untimi nko so what you say enti chese e free ha kwa ase ho de papa ahomete wo
efie nso ya ama ha no mu nia afose.
Good. Me nso me fie ho enso eno ka ho na me kan because of gutters na ekwan no enamu nti no ama enso no etimi bokwa ko me fie ho me fie ni e bokko ho nyina because of gutters na yema. Can you imagine where we say e gutter wo so ti ase aya afro akwala kura betia betom so akwala na ha mo nam ha ko school enti obi ho na ne say akwala ba ko ni ti bo ha because of gutters ni ade na emu asisi enti ye besere won ye pon ache wa won mo hwe ni so ka Nkroful no e wo
pa cho den dey
me di mama kisu a.
So Kokwi and Dave, that has been it here at Kechi Kwame Appiah at Tantra Hill Yellow House in Accra. Residents complaining obviously about the poor state of the road here, appealing to the government to ensure that the drainage systems are improved for free flow of water whenever there is a rainfall, and also for residents to be able to channel their wastewater into the drains.
All right.
From their lips to the MC's ears. Thank you so much, Nia Ikwe Okain, our colleague who's been based in Tantra Hill this morning, to show us the state of the roads in that particular area. Yeah. And I'm just the images.
It's my neighborhood.
That's your area.
Yeah.
So you're familiar with the issues here.
So I know Tantra very well. I don't actually live in Tantra, but I live in mile 7, which is literally like 3 minutes maximum drive to Tantra, right? So if I leave my house and I'm driving to Tantra Hill, it will take me 3 minutes. I'll be in Tantra Hill, right? And the part she's talking about will probably take me another. What we see Yellow House will probably take me another maybe 3 to 4 minutes to get to Yellow House area, but it is horrible. And like I said,
I wish we could hear what this gentleman is saying.
No private vehicle wants to go there, you know. Yeah, because it's just horrible. Commercial vehicles, I mean, you know, they don't want to apply that route, you know. And then of course, so you know what happens when it rains. Then it means that the fares become a lot more expensive because that area It's like, if you pay us enough, it will be worth us going there. But otherwise, we are not going there.
I can't believe what she said. She actually said it can rain and the water could get to knees height.
Yes.
I mean, and I don't think she's exaggerating. From what she said, it can get that bad.
No, she's not exaggerating. So the thing is that, you see what we've been talking about in the last couple of days, right? Gutters are very important. Now, these gutters are silted to the top. It's not rubbish, it's silt. You see? And it's the assembly's responsibility to make sure that gutters within the environs of the assembly are desilted. So, what is that assembly doing? That's my question, right? Now, we have Operation Clean Your Frontage. Once that comes into effect and they are going around neighborhoods, right, they'll be insisting on everybody who lives next to the gutter to desilt those gutters, okay? If the gutters were open and flowing, you notice what it was happening. There's a certain point in time, you don't even see that there's even a gutter there, but there's a gutter there.
Yeah, because it's so
it's merged with the road.
And it's
you see,
breeding things.
So that's what creates the flooding.
Yeah. But in a
there's
case
no
like this,
channel
there's no channel, but for this situation, for instance, even if they clear the gutters, they'll still have the same problem because the way the road is not tarred. It's all just dirt road. When it rains, all that dirt is going to wash back into the gutters. Unless that road is properly tarred,
so you see what
this is going to be a recurring
what
problem.
happens is that the gutter typically is supposed to be slightly above the level of the current road because the road is not yet been constructed. So they build it like that, right? So if the gutters were functioning properly, the water should be flowing through the channels and not onto the road. And whatever runoff is on the road will continue just down there. But the majority of, the water that's coming will be in the gutters and go downstream. But the question is downstream to where?
That's the thing. Where? And then of course you've got the erosion.
We don't have intelligent connectivity within our communities. You will see the gutters we've created gutters and then you don't see where it leads into a big channel and then goes. No, it's going to no man's land, literally. Okay, and I have some in my area in Mile 7. Yeah, where you see nice gutters being constructed, it has no end.
It's just
and it's like, what were they thinking when they were doing this?
So many safety and health issues with that as well. As she said, school children who might think it's solid ground, but it's actually a gutter with built up silt and the disease burden. One of the ladies said she's been hospitalized because of this. People, we need to sit up. Honestly, we need to sit up. And you can't, I don't think you can really fault the residents except those who have channeled their waste onto the streets.
Yeah, onto the streets.
That's a no-no.
Yeah.
And that's a no-no. They may say, well, they didn't know what option they have.
No, but you see, again, here's the work of the assembly.
Yeah.
And the assembly people know that this water is in the road. And they do nothing about it. And so, you see, this is why, for me, I'm going to hit hard at the assembly every single time. Because there are people who they are expecting their end of month salary in a week. They are expecting it. In less than 1 week, they're expecting to collect it and go home and go and spend with their family. But they've not done their job. You see? And so the people at that assembly that handles Tantra Hill, the MC, listen, we've got to stop playing games. Yeah. I mean, we come to work every day and we have to earn our keep. You go to work every day and people are playing games under you as the MC for the area, and you're not sanctioning people. Yeah, they get away with it every month after month. See, the woman says she's been living there for 22 years. Of course, there are multi-layers to this issue. Because first of all, you moved into an area that has no roads, has no services, right? There's no. That's what we do, isn't it? We go into areas. And we are the first residents in the area. There are no roads, there's no electricity, there's no water, there's nothing. But there's land. So yeah, we start. And then, we'll go and put some poly tank or we dig an underground well and then we, store water. And we're trying to do subsistence living, cut off from the grid. Eventually, we're expecting to pull power to the place, pull water to the place. But guess what? You can't pull a road to the place. So once you cannot pull a road to the place, then what happens? This chaos is what ensues.
It's tragic. It's really disgusting. I mean, people are living in that and just attracting disease to themselves.
It's a disease basin. It's just a pot of different illnesses.
And nobody seems to care except obviously those living it every day. What a shame. Well, hopefully the right people are listening and watching and will take some action. I mean, she did say that once they complained about the issue with the abattoir, some people did come around, City News did cover it. But beyond that, the consistent addressing of these issues is what's going to make a difference in the end. So let's hope that what we've just shown you today, will get some solutions going.
All right, so we have some messages here. This one says, good morning, City. Please, why do we agree as a people to be governed by a group of other persons called the government? Please stop blaming the people of Ghana for causing floods each time it rains. Have you ever asked yourself why in developed countries people just don't dump garbage everywhere? Ask the critical questions and stop criticizing the citizenry because we are the underdogs. Well, I'm not sure I've been following the program closely because I've been calling out the district assembly who are part of the government. I'm not sure if you're paying attention to what we're looking at there, because we're actually exposing what is supposed to be taken care of by the district assembly, which is desilting of gutters, which is building of roads. Urban Roads is responsible for building roads to make sure. So we are not criticizing the citizenry. We are saying that, yes, we do have a responsibility, by the way, to make sure that we don't dump garbage. For example, the people who have the abattoir, is a responsibility not to spill abattoir, wash water, into the streets. That's our responsibility. So we do have a part to play. And I think it's important not to shirk the responsibility of individuals. Because some people throw rubbish in the street. And when you confront them, guess what they say? Is it your father's road? Is the road your father's road? But that's irresponsibility on the part of citizenry. Yeah. And I think that we need to be bold enough and clear enough in our minds as to what it is that is our responsibility. Do the right thing. Indiscipline is rife in this country, and we need to put a stop to it. We need to discipline ourselves as individuals and then call on the government to do what they are supposed to do. Everybody has a part to play. I will not let the government off on the things they are supposed to do, because guess what? You and I, our taxes put together is what pays their salaries, all right? That's important for us to make sure that we put their feet to the fire and let them do what they're supposed to do. But we also have a responsibility to do what we're supposed to do. True. Okay?
All right. Now, Prosper Bonsi, chatting from Santor, East Legon Hills. He says the terrible roads, try visiting our area here at Santor. Our road is one of the worst in Accra. We've heard so much.
We've seen some of the Santor roads, isn't it?
We've seen some.
It's such a mess.
We have colleagues who live there who have told us time and again they cannot wait for those roads to be fixed, so we understand. Shoddy work by contractors will stop only when those who award the contracts stop collecting kickbacks of some percentage on contract amounts. That's Asanko Santa Maria who sent that message in. Well, thank you for your messages, guys. Keep them coming. 0550-585832. That's the WhatsApp line. And you can hashtag Breakfast Daily. Wherever you are, wherever you live, if you've got an issue like that, just let us know.
Yeah.
Okay.